And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Drake Vanders here for another episode of Long Dark. Slightly different this time because I'm actually talking to you after this episode was already made, so this is a post-production commentary. The reason for this is because my sound software decided to not record my microphone during a complete 2 episodes worth of recording. So I'm speaking to you on post-recording. But it's to bring... I'm only going to talk a little bit, and it's mostly just to bring up the newest Long Dark update, which is Tireless Menace, which is version 0.321. It's introduced a lot of more features into the game. These include the new radial menu and streamlined status, which will be showcased throughout the video. As you could probably see, I'm going through each of the stats now, so while I would be explaining it then, I wouldn't because my microphone's wasn't working then. They introduced challenge modes, which added 2 new challenges, these being Hunted Part 1, where you're constantly being hunted by a murderous bear, which can only be killed by a certain rifle in Mystery Lake. As well as Hopeless Rescue, which you have 7 days to reach Timberwolf Mountain. You have 7 days to get to Timberwolf Mountain to get the Distress Pistol, and then fire a flare over the lighthouse and Desolation Point within 7 days. So, yeah, it's quite a heck of a challenge. The rest system has been overhauled. This is demonstrated in the video. It's now more of a resource than it is than what it was before. They've added a pastime mechanic so that you can actually pass the time, so you don't have to just rest constantly in order to pass or forward time. But the rest only happens when you're either drained or fatigued, so that when you rest, when you wake up at any godforsaken time in the middle of the night. You could be waking up with 4 hours left of darkness left, as demonstrated in the video. Also, they've increased the decay system overhaul. A lot of the items in World had 100+ day decay when the game started. Now it's 1,000 days, because it now takes into account of outside and exterior and interior locations, as well as storage locations. First person present wolf struggle is another one which you will experience in this video, as well as a new item called the emergency stim, which they're located in various locations in the game. They're not to be overused from what I've been told, because they have some negatives to their use. They're more like, they'll give you a momentary boost to your condition for a limited time. Say for example, just after a bear attack. Brands are now something you get from a burning fire or fireplace, replacing torches and fires. They cannot be, once you pick up a brand, something I do have a thing against is that you can't actually throw them back in the fire when they're completely burnt out. I mean, with the torches, when they're ruined, they don't add much at all. They probably add point something to the degrees given, but the problem is that, yeah, they're persistent now, in that they, as soon as you drop them, they persist in world. The problem is that it just builds up lots of clutter, especially if you use it indoors. They also added two new diseases actually. One is cabin fever, which is spending too many continuous hours inside, and contracting intestinal parasites from eating too much meat from carnivores. They added a new state for wolf AI, where the wolves will follow you and just look at you before deciding whether or not to attack. They refreshed wildlife spawning in all major regions. This will be demonstrated within the video. To a surprising degree. Excuse me. They overhauled the item degradation behavior, as I said. but it's a daily rate modified for interior, exterior storage, and player use. Food decay is based on storage versus exterior, and is especially true for fish and meat, whether an item is raw or cooked. All tools continue to decay based on use only. They removed the decay from matches. They added various rope climbs and climbing anchor points across all regions, including access to a couple of previously inaccessible areas. They added rope gear spawns into a few locations, almost also made available in older saves. Journals can now be saved on the death screen. I don't really use journals all that much. Updated the gear naming system to reflect item condition. Complete overhaul to rest system, as I mentioned before. A player cannot rest if there is no fatigue. They added a passing time mechanic. Added slow condition gain while awake and healthy. This is useful. So you don't necessarily have to regain condition just by sleeping in the bed anymore. You can actually recover condition just by simply staying awake and being in a healthy condition, i.e. you're not having any negative effects on you. Let's see. I've lost my place. Yeah, they also they added hypothermia risk affliction, as well as what they didn't mention is intestinal risk. So the more you eat tainted meat, as it were, you run the risk of contracting intestinal parasites more often. The same with hypothermia. You have hypothermia risk. In the event that you stay out in the cold too long, the higher your risk, the more chance you'll get hypothermia. So this stops the surprise hypothermia, as we've all witnessed. They've differentiated all light sources more clearly by turning burning times, branching, effectiveness, and item cost. This applies to torches, flares, brands, and lanterns. Flares are now brandished and not thrown. All AI will now ignore dropped torches and flares, so this is important to know. You can't just throw a flare and expect a wolf to run away. Harvesting branches now produces 3 sticks, increased from 2. Harvesting sticks now produces 2 tinder plugs, increased from 1. Hatchets now modify branch harvesting time correctly. That's good. Branching now only works if an item is lit. Items that decay to 0% condition will now be marked ruined but persist in the world. So it's going to be a case of where you're going to have to put, from the sounds of this, it's going to be a case of you're going to have to invest an area in your base or an area outside the world where you're just going to dump ruined items. It's going to be a junkyard. They increased the wind speed to require to blow out existing fires, as well as which prevent fires from being started. This should reduce instances of strong fires being blown out suddenly due to wind changes. That's useful to know. They delay condition loss from bear struggle until the struggle animation is complete. This does not apply to wolf struggles. They combine stats with journals, made accessible from main menu and death screen, as well as in game. Simple crafting is now accessible in the radial menu. This is useful because it allows you to make torches and maybe even snares and fishing line without actually having to use a bench, which is handy. They updated art for feed fire screen. They made some changes in the options. Different icons will now show up more often. The art, animation and effects, they added experimental first-person presence for wolf struggles. This is somewhat shown so that you'll be able to see what kind of weapon you're using as you're struggling. They gave a first pass on color grading. They added rim lighting for nighttime lighting. Improved bear model and texture, improved bear animations, improved wolf animations, updated the visual effects for torches, flares, lanterns and brands, so that flames begin to sputter when you're running low on burn time. They added new footprint system which fill up as more snow gets on them, or if wind increases. They improved draw distance for falling snow. They updated the light shafts window effect to improve performance. Increased visibility of blood drops aid with tracking wounded animals. This somewhat is shown in the video, but not to a great effect. Added blood spatter effect when the player is injured. This is also shown. Miscellaneous. The game now supports Steam Cloud Saves for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Not much of a problem because this is the only computer I'm going to be playing on. More graceful handling of corrupt or incompatible save games. This will be important because there have been, in the last season, I couldn't continue because the game was incompatible, or the save I had was incompatible, so it just ended up blue screening my computer. All game sessions are now saved upon start, not at first rest or interior-exterior transition. This should result in fewer mysterious save losses when players abandon games before they have been auto-saved. This is useful. Improved Steam controller support, not too much of a problem to me. Particle optimization now active for Windows, which should result in better performance of heavy snow and blizzard conditions for some players. Always handy. Added error handling for updating to default key bindings due to the addition of new controls. Save icon now appears when saving the player profile. Added save file compression, which results in smaller save files and faster cloud save uploads. They also added a new master volume slider, added more general ambient and exploration music, and fixed some issues with preventing ambient music from playing in certain circumstances. They fixed issues that were preventing desired gameplay speed from playing. As a result, you should hear more gameplay relevant voice feedback from Misfire Persona. That is shown in-game. They overhauled the struggle audio for both walls to account for first-person presence and for the bear struggle to make it more impressive. Footstep audio now differentiates between shoes, boots, and bare feet. Not that I would want to walk bare feet in the snow, mind you. As well as a list of different bug fixes, which I won't go into. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed me just rattle on for 10 to 12 minutes. I'll let you enjoy the video now. The next episode will be a no commentary video because, yet again, it failed to record commentary. So, I hope you enjoy this episode, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ta!
Hope nobody needs this anymore. Something's gotta go.